HBO Max has comics. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh cool, they're making comics based on the shows on their streaming service? No, 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 no. That would make too much sense. So what they're doing is, through DC, to promote their HBO Max streaming service, they've made HBO Max comics called HBO Max to the Max. And basically, the idea is they're superhero comics. They don't really have anything to do with the streaming service, but they like send you subliminal messages to try to get you to get the streaming service. Like every single comic talks about maximum potential, and every time they highlight the word max. Whenever they show a TV, the TV has HBO Max. It doesn't even show them actually watching like a show from the streaming service or a selection of shows on the streaming service. It just says HBO Max. So basically, these are ad campaigns. Each issue is like 10 pages. It has pretty decent art, but it's super generic. Obviously, you know, a story within 10 pages is kind of rushed. And for the most part, every story kind of follows the same formula. So the idea behind how these people become Max superheroes is they each come in contact with a dog named Max. And whoever comes in contact with this dog, the dog will disappear, and what will be left in its place is a remote controller. And I don't know, they press some button on the remote controller and then they turn into a superhero. It's kind of weird for a remote controller to have that ability. I mean, if you were gonna go with the remote control, shouldn't you be doing something like the movie Click, where you like control the universe? Or at least have like the remote control be in control of a mech or something that needs a controller? But no, they just poof into superheroes, and I don't know what the deal with the dog is. I guess it's just some kind of supernatural being that's just passing out remote controls. I mean, the plot is kind of nonsensical, and it could have been done better. Give it a little more focus grouping, a little bit more discussion here about the semantics. But overall, I don't think the comics are that bad. They just seem kind of rushed. Every single comic, you gotta have the main character meet this dog. When they turn into a superhero, they don't even like question it, like what the hell just happened? Because they don't have time for that, because the story is 10 pages. So they don't really get much reaction from them having superpowers. I guess the rules about the superpowers is you can basically just do anything you want, but you can only have one superpower at a time. At least that's how it's described in the first issue. But the stories themselves are kind of boring, inoffensive, but boring, up until you get into this third comic. Oh my god, this one, everyone agrees this one is the worst. And what bothers me about this one is it probably had the most potential. This main character right here on the front cover, she's supposed to be a comedian. She's supposed to be. So, like I said, these other two issues were boring and very generic. You have the opportunity now to put comedy into your comics, and it just, ooh, they fall flat on their face. It is so unfunny. So we start off with her at her comedy act, and she's already like super powered up. She already met Max, and she's basically using her power to hear the thoughts in the audience so she can kind of feel out what jokes get a good laugh, or what people are thinking, maybe joke about what they're thinking. And that's, you know, that's not a bad idea for a comedian to be doing that. It seems like probably something they would do. I don't think she actually tells a single joke in this comic. Like, this is her opening for her act. This is what she says. "It's great to be back at the Desert Inn, a place that's always been like home to me. Now sure, I don't generally water down the drinks at my actual home, but otherwise..." And then we get the ha-ha-ha's over here. That's not funny. That's your opening line? If that's your opening line, you are going down in flames. You know one of those jokes where you hear it and you laugh, but also the more you think about it, the more you start laughing? This is the opposite of that. This is one of those jokes where you hear and you know you're supposed to laugh, so you laugh out of politeness, but then the more you start thinking about it, the more you know it's not funny at all. And then in the audience, because she's listening in on everyone, she hears these two crooks having a conversation about how they're going to be robbing the casino. Something humorous is that this is not even a full audience. There's like a total of 6 people in the audience. And one of the things the guy is saying is just try to enjoy the lady comic. She's pretty funny for a good, and you're getting the impression, oh, she's pretty funny for a girl. Oh my god, feminism! But she's not. She's not even funny for a girl. She sucks. If you're going to do a thing where it's like girls can be funny too, then fucking write a good joke, or at least steal some jokes online so that I can laugh while I'm reading it. And her response to hearing that these people are going to be robbing the casino is to call them out in front of the entire audience. Like, that won't stir up any problems. That won't start any sort of panic. And she like turns her hand into an arrow and points at him, which is kind of goofy, I guess, but she's not actually pointing at him. How the art is drawn, she's not actually pointing at him. It looks like she's pointing, you know, behind him. Just not very clever way to draw that. And she's still not being funny. And look at that, guys! He pulls out a gun! Oh, who could have thought that would happen if you call out a criminal in front of an audience? And look, the cops are literally right there. It's like they were already going to bust this guy and she just intervened and ruined everything, caused a panic. People are getting trampled and killed. So like the basic idea of her superpowers is she's kind of like the Mask, where she just transforms into a bunch of things. And like, that's fine. That can be fun if she's funny. So she captures the guy and then she's like, I need to find the brains of this operation. So she goes looking around the casino to look for the brains of this operation. And this drunk guy comes up to her, like pats her on the shoulder and is like, can I buy you a drink? To which she responds by flipping him over, breaking the poker table, probably killing him. And her reaction to that is, whoa, I know Kung Fu. This is the point in this comic where I wanted to die. Flipping someone over your back just automatically means that you know Kung Fu. Such a basic move. My sister used to do that to me. And then out of pure luck, the guy who's the brains of the operation just grabs this random woman with quarters in her hand and starts threatening everyone like, hey, don't do anything, otherwise I'll shoot her. That's literally what he says. I'm not going to hurt anybody as long as everyone stays calm and doesn't do anything. What's his plan? What's going on? Is he leaving? Is he trying to get out of the casino? She didn't even know where he was this whole time. She's like looking for him like, I gotta figure out the brains of this operation. She didn't know you were the brains of the operation. He just grabs this random woman and says, don't do anything. It don't make any fucking sense. So while he has a gun to this woman's head, prepared to shoot her, this crazy bitch throws a remote at him. She throws the Max remote at him. That wouldn't, first of all, that wouldn't cause anyone to be knocked out throwing a plastic remote at somebody. Trust me, I've had remotes thrown at me before. But also, what's stopping him from being scared into triggering the gun and blowing her head off? This is not the proper way to handle a hostage situation. This is the type of stuff that I write into my superhero comics so that someone else can come in and yell at that superhero for not handling a hostage situation correctly. And then, you know, the cops take him away and everyone starts cheering for her like, oh my god, you're so amazing. And she's like, wow, that's the most applause I've ever gotten in Vegas. Yeah, because you suck. Because you're not funny. I waited this whole comic for this woman to be funny. She never was. And then at the end of the comic, for some reason, she has the dog, but doesn't The dog disappears after they become superheroes. Does the dog come back? I don't... What are the rules of this dog? Anyway, so hopefully that helped you understand a little bit of why they say that the third one is the worst of the HBO Max comics. I mean, they're all kind of stupid, but it's obviously just an ad campaign for their streaming service that they're trying to push. They're using DC Comics to kind of give it a little push for people who are superhero fans, because apparently having actual ads in your comic books, well, it wasn't enough. And it's obvious that the people working on these comics don't actually themselves really care how they turn out. They don't really care if it's good. It feels like they're more so just being forced to get it out there, so they don't try. They're just like, man, we just need to get this out. I think that it's a humorous idea for HBO Max to try to make Max superheroes and do some subliminal messages within the comics to try to get people to get their streaming service. I think that's pretty funny. It's just a shame that the people actually working on the comics aren't having any fun at all. But anyway, what do you think about the HBO Max comics? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. As usual, remember to like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!